Hello, I want to come to you today and make a short video and talk about the state of crime in Scott County. As you know, 3 years ago when I got elected sheriff, we implemented a community-oriented policing plan which encompassed the whole community, getting everybody involved in helping the sheriff's office solve our problems here in the county. I've got some statistics that I'm going to show today that are very encouraging, very promising, and very positive for Scott County. And as I go through these statistics, what I want to do is I want to set some housekeeping, give you some housekeeping information so you know exactly what I'm talking about, the type of stats they are, and also so you don't have to worry about following along with the video and the charts that's attached. There will be a news release with all of these stats on it that you can look at later. I also have to thank Major GOyVaBny8wu62UADABFDOmDqRQg, who spent tireless amount of hours putting these stats together and making sure that they were accurate. These stats that we'll be viewing today is based on a NIBRS system, and this NIBRS system is what you submit to the FBI. So this is how that we submit all of our crime information from the Scott County Sheriff's Office. And again, these stats are for the Scott County Sheriff's Office only. We only keep stats for Scott County Sheriff's Office, always have, never been anything different. We don't keep stats for Austin City, Scottsburg City, State Police, FBI, or anyone else. Just to let you know, so these stats we're talking about are Sheriff's Office stats only. And again, one thing here before we get started into the stats, we must remember these stats are very encouraging, they're very promising, but we have to remember this. Every one of these numbers of these stats represent a victim, and we are not going to be happy. We are not going to stop until we get to zero. The popular saying that we have around the Sheriff's Office here is that we're bringing back Mayberry. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to have our community to be a safe community for our kids to play and for our citizens to live. And as you can see of these stats, we're working on it very diligently. Let's get into the numbers. First of all, let's talk about narcotics investigations. And this is one of those stats where the numbers are actually good. The high numbers are good because you're going to see the direct correlation to the increased number of narcotics investigations opposed to the decreased numbers of all the other crimes. And this is what we were talking about when we implemented the community-oriented policing plan that we did 3 years ago. In 2015, 2018, before I became sheriff, the Scott County Sheriff's Office averaged around 50 narcotics investigations a year. When I took over in 2019 and 2020, those 2 years, we averaged 119 investigations. Last year in 2021, we had 106 narcotics investigations here at the Sheriff's Office. We had a 126% increase, 126% increase in the number of narcotics investigations that we've completed here at the Scott County Sheriff's Office. Let's go into burglary investigations. Burglary investigations. The prior 6 years for burglaries here in Scott County, we averaged 28 investigations per year. Last year in Scott County, we had 6 burglary investigations. Folks, that's a 78% decrease in the number of burglaries in our county. Very encouraging. Theft investigations. The prior 6-year average in Scott County was 258 investigations per year average. Last year in Scott County, we had 124. That's a 47% decrease. 47% decrease. Weapons violations investigations. The prior 6-year average here for Scott County Sheriff's Office was 8 investigations per year. Last year in Scott County Sheriff's Office, we had 3 weapons investigations, and that's a 62% decrease in that crime. Homicide, murder investigations, we've not worked a murder or homicide. The Sheriff's Office hasn't since I've been sheriff. Obviously at a time when a lot of cities and counties and areas are getting bombarded and getting inundated with deaths, which is very sad. Us folks here in Scott County are enjoying a time when we've not had any murders or homicides that the Sheriff's Office has worked since I've been sheriff. And we're going to continue to diligently work so that we don't have any. Our battery and domestic violence investigations, the prior 6-year average in Scott County was 87 investigations per year. Last year in Scott County, we had 38 investigations. Now, that's a 40% decrease in those numbers. Why is this important? Because the battery and domestic violence investigations affect our families. They affect our children. So it's important that we continue to make sure that we keep these numbers down. Our rape and sex crime investigations, the prior 6-year average here at the Scott County Sheriff's Office was 15 investigations per year. Last year in Scott County, in 2021, we investigated 2 rape or sex crime investigations. Obviously, that's too many. And again, we're not going to stop until we get to 0. But again, that's an 86% decrease in the amount of those crimes here in Scott County for last year. Now, those things that I spoke about was investigations. That's the actual investigations that we do to be able to get charges, or we can't get charges because someone, committed the perfect crime or whatever you want to call it. Jumping straight into the arrest numbers here. Now, this is actual physical arrest where we actually put our hands on somebody and brought them to jail. In 2019, we had 1,521 criminal arrests. In 2020, we had 964 criminal arrests. And in 2021, we had 579 criminal arrests. Folks, that number that's trending down on those criminal arrests is showing that the recidivism rate in Scott County is dropping. Not only dropping, but as you can see in these numbers, dropping pretty tremendously, which is a very positive sign that the revolving door is shutting. And quite frankly, we know that there's going to be some folks, no matter what we do or what we do to try to help them, that they're going to continue to get arrested. However, there is that certain segment of folks that we bring into the jail that we have been able to help. How have we been able to help them? Pretty simple, and actually there's several reasons. One of them obviously is because of the hard work that our deputies have put in to make sure that we're making the good cases, making sure that we get people in jail that need to be in jail. Another thing is this. Another thing is the communication and the cooperation that we've got from the citizens of Scott County. Again, with our community-oriented policing plan, this is quite frankly, a very important part in the reduction of recidivism rate. Another thing too is this: we're cooperating with the prosecutors and the judges. We're giving them cases and to allow them to prosecute people who really need to be in jail, and those people being sent off to where they're not out here on our streets causing crime and reaping havoc. They're off to prison where they need to be. Another thing that we have to really realize is this. When I took over as a sheriff in 2019, I had a meeting with my jail commander, Doug Harold, and I told him, we're going to stop doing business as usual. When folks come into our jail, when they're arrested, we're going to offer them the opportunity to get an education. We're going to offer them the opportunity to get job skills. We're going to offer them the opportunity for both religious and secular addiction rehabilitation. And Doug Harold has done a tremendous job with programs in our jail. We've got those started, and quite frankly, working with our addiction recovery community, we've actually become a model throughout the state and are qualifying for some grants now that we're putting in for because of the hard work and what we've done here at the Scott County Jail in lowering our recidivism rate, and also giving the folks that come into the jail an opportunity to contribute to society whenever they leave. We're not just warehousing prisoners. We're giving them the opportunity to succeed, and as you can see, our recidivism rates are showing that, and we're going to continue to do that. Traveling on here, we'll talk about our calls for service. This is very important, obviously, with community-oriented policing. This goes hand in hand. Since I've been sheriff for 3 years, our calls for service has went up 3 years in a row, which is actually a good thing, and we applaud that. In 2019, our calls for service was 14,305. In 2020, our calls for service was 14,724. And in 2021, last year, our calls for service was 15,736. Again, this is very positive, because actually what it does is these yearly increases, it actually drives home the thought of the fact for us that our sheriff's office has a relationship with the citizens of Scott County, that they know that they can call us and we will listen, we will react, and we will help resolve the problem that they have. And in many times, resolve that problem before it does turn into criminal activity. Now, as we talk about calls for service and as we talk about criminal activity, obviously we're happy that our numbers are going down. But there's also something that we need to be aware of, and that is this. We are prepared in Scott County. When I took over as a sheriff, one of the first things I wanted to do was professionalize the agency, train our agency, and we think that we have done that. Last year alone, just last year, our jail employees and our road deputies combined had over 4,109 hours, yes, 4,109 hours of training so that they could become a better police officer, a better jailer, so they would be prepared in cases of emergency situations, so they would be better prepared when they handle just the routine calls that we handle whenever we show up at your residence. We want to be known as the best sheriff's office in the state of Indiana, and our folks here at the jail and on the road are committing themselves and putting in the hours to make that happen. And that's something that I'm extremely proud of. I think that's something that the folks here in Scott County can be extremely proud of. And not only is folks noticing here locally, but I can tell you this, our calls for service from outside agencies has increased tremendously. And that is a very positive sign. And as the sheriff of the county, that's a very positive thing for me, that to know that outside agencies, not from Scott County, think enough of our agency, know that we're professional enough, know that we have the training enough, that they will call us to assist them in criminal activity that they have in their county. Folks, that's pretty good, and we're proud of that, and we're going to continue to train and continue to be prepared in case something bad happens. As we know, there's no such thing as living in a utopia. There's no such thing as a perfect world, and we know as long as evil persists in the world as it does today, that there's probably going to be bad things happen. When they do, I promise you that the Scott County Sheriff's Office, whoever shows up, whatever deputy shows up, will be prepared to help you. They will be trained the best that they can to be able to assist you and your family in the best way that we can. Now, as we go on here, and I'm getting close to closing, I want to talk about something that happened, a very positive thing that happened to our county. We received a Safe Community Achievement Award from Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers is known across the United States, obviously a well-respected organization. The Kentucky Anti-Crime Stoppers, the ones that serves our area here in Scott County, all of southern Indiana and most of northern and central Kentucky, gave us an award for being a community-oriented policing community that has made a huge difference in making their citizens safer. As a matter of fact, they went on to say that the model, the community-oriented policing model that we have, is one that needs to be looked at by other agencies across the whole United States as a model when they implement their community-oriented policing projects. And folks, I'm just telling you right now, that's nothing more than a direct reflection of the relationship that the Sheriff's Office has with our community. And that is a very positive thing for our county. As you very well know, as other communities right now are suffering from crime rates that they're really kind of going out of the roof and battling with robberies and deaths, we're enjoying a lull in criminal activity, and we're very pleased about that. And we're going to continue to work hard to hopefully continue that lull in the criminal activity, continue to drop our crime rates in Scott County. We're not happy with what we have. We have to continue to work better. We're going to continue to train so that we can continue to make our citizens safer, so our children can be playing outside and that our citizens can go where they want to and not have to worry about being harmed. That's the goal. That's the goal that we must have. And in closing here, I just want to say that if you need anything at all, you know that my door is always open here at the Scott County Sheriff's Office for you to come in. I'm always available to talk to anyone. And I can tell you right now, I am so proud to be called the Sheriff of Scott County, and I appreciate the fact that you give me the honor to be the Sheriff of Scott County. Thank you.